Today we are going to learn an interesting topic: American Revolution. Before start, I have a little request. If you feel these videos are helpful for learning at the end of video, please comment it down. I will be very happy to have your ideas. The American Revolution wasn't just a war, it was a movement. A fight for freedom, identity, and independence. It began as unrest in the colonies and ended with the birth of a new nation, the United States of America. In the mid-1700s, Britain ruled 13 colonies along the east coast of North America. After winning the French and Indian War, Britain was deep in debt. To recover, they taxed the colonies, without giving them any say in the matter. Acts like the Stamp Act and the Tea Act stirred anger. Colonists cried, "No taxation without representation." They believed it was unfair to be taxed by a government in which they had no voice. In 1773, frustration boiled over in Boston. Colonists disguised as Native Americans boarded British ships and dumped tea into the harbor. It became known as the Boston Tea Party, a bold act of rebellion. Britain struck back with harsh laws called the Coercive Acts, or the Intolerable Acts. These were meant to punish Massachusetts, but instead, they united the colonies against British rule. On April 19, 1775, British troops marched to seize weapons in Concord, Massachusetts. They were met by American militia in Lexington. Shots were fired. These were the first gunshots of the American Revolution. Soon after, the Second Continental Congress met and appointed George Washington as commander of the Continental Army. Though poorly equipped, the American forces had spirit and strong leadership. In June 1775, Americans fought bravely at the Battle of Bunker Hill. They lost the ground, but the British paid a heavy price. It was a sign. The colonists were ready to fight for their freedom. The big moment came on July 4, 1776. The colonies declared independence from Britain. Thomas Jefferson's Declaration of Independence boldly stated that all men are created equal and have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But declaring independence was just the beginning. The war was far from over. In the winter of 1776, Washington led a daring surprise attack across the Delaware River. His victory at Trenton gave Americans new hope. In 1777, a major turning point came at the Battle of Saratoga. American forces defeated a large British army. The victory convinced France to join the war on the American side, bringing much-needed troops, weapons, and naval support. Meanwhile, at Valley Forge in the winter of 1777 to 1778, American soldiers endured bitter cold and disease. But under the training of Baron von Steuben, they became a more disciplined and united army. In the South, American fighters used guerrilla tactics, quick ambushes and surprise attacks. Leaders like Francis Marion, the "Swamp Fox," used the terrain to outsmart British troops. In 1781, the final blow came at Yorktown, Virginia. With help from the French Navy, Washington's forces surrounded British General Cornwallis. After a long siege, he surrendered. The war was over. In 1783, the Treaty of Paris was signed. Britain officially recognized the independence of the United States. The 13 colonies were now a new nation, free from British rule. The American Revolution changed the world. It proved that people could overthrow a powerful empire in the name of liberty and self-government. It inspired revolutions in France, Latin America, and beyond. From protests to battlefields, from words to action, the American Revolution was a journey of hope, sacrifice, and determination. It gave birth to a nation built on the promise of freedom. And that promise still lives on today. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe and add a comment if you have learned something from this video.